It's time to adventure into the Filmverse, a movie fan podcast where we delve into the vast expanse of cinema and report on our findings. I'm Mytchel Chandler.
And I'm Bryce Payne.
And today on the 9th episode of Into the Filmverse, we'll be discussing the 2006 slice-of-life adventure, Old Joy, and various content we watched throughout the week. Be sure to join us on Letterboxd, the social network for film lovers. You can find Bryce Payne at
Payne Reviews, P-A-Y-N-E Reviews.
And me, Mytchel Chandler, at Mytch Reviews. And Mytch, spelled with the Y's, it's M-Y-T-C-H. Before we dive into our weekly movie watches, we're going to go off the top with some recent movie news. We're going to start out by talking about Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 2. We're going to do a spoiler review here, so if you don't want to hear any spoilers about the second episode of Mandalorian Season 2, please skip ahead 5 minutes, starting now. Alright, Bryce, what do you think?
Yeah, I really like this episode. I like this more than the first one.
I think this is my second favorite, only because it felt like it was the cliffhanger at the end kind of like jarred me a little bit.
That I will say, yeah, because it ended so suddenly.
I wouldn't say a cliffhanger, but just the fact that they didn't finish the story that they set up in the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, it was
That's
like
what bothered me about
it was like a 35-minute episode, and it was just like it ended so fast, and my wife and I were like, "That's it? That's the whole episode?"
All I know is that Baby Yoda is a straight villain, dude.
She was so funny,
just straight up eating other people's species.
Mando's like, "I'm gonna walk back there." And oh shit.
No. You can't eat those babies. You can't eat those.
So of course it begins where the last episode ends. He leaves Tatooine.
Right.
And he goes and he goes back to the saloon. I want to call it saloon. Cantina.
Cantina.
And he meets Dr. Mandible, which I found was fucking hilarious for a name of an ant. And he gets told about this client that he can escort to another planet, and they'll tell him where Mandalorians are.
Of course, a frog.
And it's a frog, which was really weird seeing her, because it's like, it was a weird alien to see. It's like, alright. And of course, you know, I was really into it. I was like, alright, I can see this going places. And she has a batch of eggs, so she has to transport to this planet because it's the last of her offspring. And if they die, her species dies, like her bloodline.
Right.
And
you can't they can't do light speed because it'll ruin or basically scramble her eggs. So they have to travel at a just regular pace, like, you know,
through space.
Yeah,
they can't speed through. They have to go normal.
And of course, she leaves Baby Yoda alone.
And that's just the funniest thing. She has her babies, and she's like, "The last of my species. Let me put them in the back of the ship with no supervision." and Baby Yoda's like, "Oh."
Yeah, I find it dumb that. Well, before I go into that, I want to mention I like how Mandalorian in the first episode he could speak to the Tusken Raiders like really easily, like he just knew their language. But the way this chick, he didn't know her language.
Yeah, it makes it more realistic, isn't it?
He doesn't know everything. Yeah,
every Star Wars property, it's always like, "Oh, R2-D2 beefs? Yeah, of course Anakin knows how to speak droid."
Right, exactly.
Of course. Oh, Luke? Of course. It's like, really?
Like, they don't know how to speak every language. I like the fact that they
had the barrier.
Exactly.
And she's like, he's like, "I don't fucking know your language, frog woman."
But there is this controversy with Baby Yoda eating the eggs. Like, I think it's the stupidest thing ever. Controversy with Baby Yoda eating eggs.
It's like,
it's a joke.
What did you expect?
It's like Baby Yoda doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. It's, you know?
In the fucking, the second episode of the Mandalorian, like, series, he ate a fucking frog just jumping around. Like,
right,
it
exactly.
doesn't surprise me at all.
Wait, are you surprised? No. Like, no.
And then when he got chased down by the rebel pilots, because these rebel pilots come, they're like police.
Plus, one of the guys is Dave Filoni, right?
Yeah. And
the other guy was a guy from Kim's Convenience, which I mentioned before. He also played alongside the guy that was going to do Shang-Chi.
Yeah, and then he's flying, and they show up, and they're like police. They're like, "Sir, have you been in the recent breakout from, I think it's like episode 6 of Mandalorian, that he like broke people out?" And they were like, he's like, "Fuck." He like zoomed away onto this ice planet, which people are assuming is the planet from episode 1 of The Mandalorian, where he gets the bounty.
Right.
And he gets stuck there, trying to evade capture.
What I think is cool, the spiders that very much remind us.
The Kinraths.
The Kinraths. Well, I know, I saw spiders. But what I want to mention real quick, so you know how I like how they made the rebels not seem like the good guys. Usually
they're like, the rebels, they basically just replaced the Empire.
Yeah, it just seemed like they were the dicks this time. Like, they're just like bad cops. Like,
which I appreciate, because it's not like the transfer of power couldn't have been like, "Oh, now we're good." It's like, it's just a system of government. It's nothing's really changed.
Right.
Just one that was more upfront about it. But like, he goes to this ice planet, gets stuck, and his ship gets fucking destroyed.
And she's like, "We gotta move," and he's like, "Nah, dude."
Yeah, she fixes a robot, and she's like, "We gotta go." And he's like,
IG-11.
"The fuck do you want me to do?"
He's like, oh, no, like, our ship's in half, dude. And she's and then she runs off and puts her eggs in something, and she fucks everything up for them. And then, of course, Baby Yoda has to touch some alien pot.
He goes there, he's like, eggs.
He's like, more eggs. I need to eat all the time.
And then, of course, the eggs break open, and a bunch of, like, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets or Aragog scenes start happening.
Right.
And they start running away from these kin rats, which is really cool seeing. And then they get to the ship, and the rebels come back, and
basically
save them. And he's like, can you help? And they're like, no. And then the episode just fucking ends.
They're like, no, we're just not going to kill you. Bye.
But the episode ends, like, real suddenly after that, and it's like, alright.
Like, just give you next episode. Give me the next episode. But yeah, I mean, overall, this is my third favorite episode of the series.
It just keeps getting better.
It does.
It's like, even though it was so short, it was just so good to watch.
Exactly. Like, I'm just excited to see what they have coming next, especially with Boba Fett coming up, maybe.
The trailer showed, like, the woman with her husband on a planet they're going to.
Ooh.
So it's like, maybe it'll be like a main thing. But regardless, that is our interpretation of The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 2.
Exactly.
Season 2. I think I said that.
Yep, it was wonderful. So thank you guys for letting us talk a little bit of spoilers there for Mandalorian.
And we'll get into Episode 3 next Friday, in 7 days.
Exactly. Can't wait for that. So, moving on to some other movie news here. We got some more bad news because of COVID. Not really surprising at this point, but still need to talk about it, though. Murder on the Orient Express sequel, which I forgot the name. Death of the Nile. That's it. I don't know, it just came to me. When I was writing it, I was like... And Ryan Reynolds, Free Guy, pushed off the 2020 release schedule. They haven't rescheduled yet. They just kind of took him off the reschedule.
I'm not surprised. Wonder Woman's going to get delayed in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. I was expecting it to be delayed already, honestly.
You're like, what a surprise. Weird.
But I just think it's worth mentioning just to know that there's no movies coming out.
There's still quote-unquote movies coming out.
Right,
but it's not big movies.
It's not. But there's nothing that, like, yeah, we'll go see something. I mean,
there's no blockbusters coming out.
Right, exactly.
Which I don't know if Death on the Nile would be considered a blockbuster, but Mandalorian Express did really well, so I can see it being a somewhat good movie.
I would say, but it's a bigger movie compared to.
It's a bigger movie release. It depends to
especially Free Guy.
Let Him Go, that just came out with Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
But No Man Land.
I actually saw that.
No Man Land's still on the release schedule.
Okay. See, like these smaller independent films where like they weren't gonna make much money anyways, and they might even gotten a regular release in theaters.
And Netflix is still releasing their movies in theaters for like their 3 days. Like Mink is actually supposed to be released on the 13th in theaters.
Oh, wow. Well, so that is that. So not some good news, but I mean it's not really surprising at this point. So I'm sorry.
We have even more bad news coming up, though.
Exactly. It also depends on how. Well,
it depends on your opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, it's bad news. I don't like it.
Johnny Depp, and I won't say quote unquote steps away from Warner Brothers. He was really asked.
Fired.
Yeah, he was asked strongly.
It wasn't really like they were like, get the fuck out. It was like, can you please go away?
Can you step down from your role as Grindelwald?
Which is really sad because reportedly he really liked that role. He really liked that role.
And this comes off of
and also it's his biggest movie that was coming out.
So I won't get into what happened too much here because I'm not too versed in what really happened. So I don't want to.
We're the outsiders looking in.
Right, exactly. But basically the whole thing between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, there's allegations that he beat her, but there's also allegations that she makes some of the stuff up, and that she actually tried hurting him.
Came up with evidence or something. It's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff back and forth.
It's a big court case.
Right, exactly. There's a lot of stuff back and forth that we're not 100% sure on yet, and people like to have opinions, which is understandable.
I do think,
but I think it's important
if Warner Brothers gets rid of Johnny Depp, then you get rid of Amber Heard just to be impartial.
Right, exactly. That's my point. It's like I do understand that people can have their own opinions and whatever, but if you're gonna do one thing to one, especially that they're both part of the same company, Warner Brothers, if there's allegations on both sides, they should
just be like. You know what? Both. We're not going to be involved with either of you until you guys figure your shit out. Good luck to both of you.
So that's why I'm not too keen on him leaving. Not that I really care, because I'm not a huge fan of Johnny Depp in general. But I do care that I think that if they're they should be impartial.
Yeah, if they're gonna get rid of one, they need to get rid of the other. But it's just taking sides at that point. For a big company, it's not a good thing to do.
Exactly.
It's a good way to split your fan base.
Yeah, and I've seen it's just both
Johnny
sides.
Johnny Depp is a very popular man.
He is, exactly.
And I won't say that I've seen Amber Heard him very much that I've been very impressed with, other than Aquaman, because I like Aquaman, but I haven't seen her in anything else, so I'm like, I could do without her.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, that's the same exactly. So, speaking of people that people love, or actors that people love, Vin Diesel's Bloodshot, that came out right before the pandemic hit and it didn't get its full release. They just announced that they're making a second one? Like, what?
I haven't seen Bloodshot, so Mytchel, you're gonna have to tell me is that a good thing?
I'm gonna. Ooh, is that a good thing? I don't know. Cross our fingers. Okay, Bloodshot's not a great movie. It's not.
Oh, that's so sad.
It's really
they
kind of
pushed it so hard.
They did. Yeah, it's not a good movie. Let's just say that. It's not like bottom of the barrel stuff, but it's still very much very.
I know that Jada and I, when it came out, were very much like Bloodshot, Onward, and of course we went with Onward.
Oh yeah, Onward is great.
Like,
yeah. If you like just nonsensical action with like mind-numbing story points, then sure. Like so, basically,
did it have an ending that warrants a sequel, or is it just kind of like a closed book ending?
Couldn't even tell you, dude. I don't even know. I don't remember what the story of that movie is. No, it's really just like there's nothing to it. It's like if you watch the Fast and Furious movie, you watch this movie already.
Oof. So Vin Diesel can track to that movie.
Exactly. It's not. I mean, it's not like about family, whatever. But it's very much just like his stereotypical. Vin
the
Diesel.
Effects look kind of cool.
That's what I did put in my review when I first put it out. I said the effects look cool.
Because even when watching the trailers, I was like, oh shit! Even that movie's awful. Like, holy fuck.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much of the bland Vin Diesel thing. For my reviews, I gave it a 3-star review, so I guess pretty normal. Although I said, this is my review of it. I said, Bloodshot is a shotgun spray from 5 feet away that misses its target. It's as boisterous and energetic as any Vin Diesel flick, but it fails to bring any new life to the superhero genre. Movies like this is why the phrase superhero movie fatigue is used. I guess I give it a 5 out of 10.
Oof. 50%.
Yeah.
So that still means like either way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not like I said, it's not terrible,
maybe,
but it's not
maybe
like
they'll improve it in the sequel.
That's what I'm hoping. Maybe they have.
They can look at what they did, and they can look at like how they could improve it,
right?
And make it better.
That's what I'm hoping too. But yeah, we'll definitely have to check that one out soon, Bryce.
I'll have to get to it.
I'll
get there eventually.
I'm pretty sure you've seen the next film that was coming out.
Jada and I were supposed to see the sequel to it.
So was I.
Like literally 3 days before COVID hit.
And this film we're talking about is John Krasinski's A Quiet Place, and A Quiet Place 3, which a third Quiet Place movie, which is actually going to be a spin-off of the series, not actually directed by John Krasinski.
I don't like that.
It's kind of like in the universe of A Quiet Place, but it's not John Krasinski. It's not going to be directed.
Yeah, but that's like looking at the Conjuring series and being like, oh, here's Annabelle, but it's not really like directed by the same people. Yeah. It's just a spin-off.
See, and that's why I like the beginnings of like zombie movies. But then like you start getting into like you make a third zombie film and you're like, okay, I get it, I'm over it. Like,
I don't know. I guess before I make any judgment on them making a third one, I would have to just see the second one.
Right? Yeah, because we were supposed to see the second one probably this March, but obviously that's right when COVID hit.
And now it's like I think it's on like an April release date, but with everything they postponed, that could be fucking different.
Right. So I mean, it's supposed to be April 2021 now, but. So it makes sense why they're making a third one, because I'm sure they're planning on this one being a big success, just like the first one was.
The problem is, if they make this too much of a franchise, it's going to lose its magic.
It depends, like I said, it always depends on how you spin it off, and if you have the ideas.
It depends on the second one. Because like, the first one is, I'm going to say, a masterpiece. Like, that is one of the most unique films ever.
The second one is going to go back and forth between them, the first starting of the invasion and what they're doing now afterwards.
Yes.
So it might like expound on the
lore.
Yeah, on the lore, so they might have like places to go with it. But
it's
going to follow a different family.
It's really hard for me to like judge it if I was in the second one. I'm like, oh, third one, all right, maybe.
Right, exactly. I'm on the same boat, especially with John Krasinski directing.
John Krasinski, like, who would have thought Jim from The Office could do such an amazing?
I know. As soon as he did A Quiet Place, and I knew, like, I just fell in love with him. Just like, dude.
You're like, oh, and fantastic.
And then he did SGN. I'm like, okay, dude, you're my favorite actor, so I don't care. Whatever you're in, I'm there for.
He's such a talented man.
I hope he's the new. Reed,
Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic, and yeah, Fantastic Four.
That'd be so cool, because it would be like, validation!
That would be amazing, but we'll see.
We'll see if Marvel's actually willing to do something like that.
Honestly, I need to see Deadpool another Deadpool movie first. What the fuck are they doing with Ryan Reynolds? Goddamn. Okay.
Ryan Reynolds just calling him every day. Like,
Kevin Feige.
Come on, man.
I mean, you're never going to hear this podcast, but please please do something with Deadpool. Okay. So with the most recent movie news dissected and spun into dutiful discussion, we venture onto some of our weekly movie watches. We got a few to go through here. We'll start with a new horror film that got released on Netflix recently called His House.
This is pretty good.
It's basically about like a dude and a wife,
immigrant family from God. What is it? I don't call it.
I don't know where it's from.
I don't remember where. It was like
Sudan.
It was like God. It's
from Africa or something.
It's from an African country, but it's like a prominent one. I just forget. We watched it last week, so
right. Exactly. But they were coming over on a boat. The boat got destroyed, and then they got picked up by the UK.
And immigrated to the UK.
Right, and then they got set up in this house that seemingly haunted, but it was really just
and they're having to deal with the ghost of their past.
Yeah, it was really just with them dealing with their ghosts of their past.
But God, dude, some of these
it was really creepy.
Holy
dude.
Shit!
It was really creepy.
There was like this great scene with like the light switch.
Oh yeah, dude,
that was just like, oh fuck.
I feel like a lot of the horror elements, like they were really great, and then it just kind of like
it would do really good, and then it would like go away, and then it would go good, and then it would go away. But overall, I had a fun time with it. I mean,
very fun time.
Like holy shit, dude! That scene alone makes the movie worth watching.
It is certainly some of the better horror films that you can watch out there.
At least on Netflix.
Sure, yeah.
Netflix doesn't have very good horror movies.
They don't have a lot of any horror movies, actually. I was trying to... Last month, I tried doing like a horror thing on Netflix, and nothing.
Yeah, it's definitely one that you should watch if you're into new Netflix releases, especially horror themed. It's a pretty good watch. I definitely recommend it. I think I gave it like a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I think I...
3.5 out of 5 or something like that. It's pretty good.
We watched...
We got absolutely drunk last week. And we decided to watch Ted.
We did. We were like, fuck it, let's watch Ted.
I have not seen this movie since I was like, I want to say like 12. Which, no, a 12-year-old watching Ted probably isn't an appropriate thing.
No, not at all. It's been a year or two since I've seen it.
But I was fairly surprised at how much I was actually laughing and into it.
I love Ted. Dude, I don't know why, just the concept of a teddy bear just being like an adult, but like just a fuck-up adult. Just cracks me the hell up.
And as we were watching it, I was like, man, it's starting to come back to me, some of these story elements.
Because it's about Thunder, you can suck my dick.
If you haven't seen Ted, it's about a teddy bear brought to life when this boy is a kid. I think he was like 10.
Yeah.
Like that, probably younger. But this big teddy bear comes to life, and he can talk and eat and smoke and drive.
And smoke weed and drive and drink alcohol and do cocaine.
Sex,
Yeah.
But,
you hear Boston go have an orgasm? Oh, yeah.
It basically premises around...
Oh, yeah.
The guy who quote unquote owns Ted, having to try to become an adult on his own without Ted,
right?
And struggling with that, and Ted having to like deal with the fact that he is a talking teddy bear.
That's another thing. It's so much smarter than just a regular like comedy film. I mean, it's just like you have a teddy bear and a dude like they're best friends. Like you could just go. There's so many different ways you could go with it that I just love the way that they decided to go.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's like back when Family Guy was written like well. It wasn't just a bunch of fart jokes and shit, so it's like it's actually written pretty damn well.
Exactly.
And I know you had an Emma Stone day.
Well, I did. I love Emma Stone. So after I don't know if it was after I watched Ted, but I was at my home, and I was wanting to watch a movie just because I just randomly felt like it. And I turned on Netflix, and the first thing that popped up was Easy A, starring Emma Stone, and I had never seen this because I thought it was like one of those like gross like super sex-filled things like maybe like Sex Drive or Blue Mountain State or American Pie, just things like those. So I never watched this one, but then I saw this Emma Stone, and I was like, screw it, I'll just give it a shot. And but it's very much a satire, and kind of like Not Another Teen Movie. It's very much like that.
Oh, you really like those satire films.
I do. It's because they're like, oh, these are films that like this is all the tropes that you would normally see in it, and like this is why they're bullshit, or like we're like, oh, we recognize that, we're not going to do that, or then they do it, but then like call themselves out on it, but make it smart. I don't know. I just like seeing tropes played in a different way that you wouldn't think of, or like compounding it, because basically her whole thing was that like somebody heard a rumor that she did something sexual, and so she's like, and so then it just started going around the whole school. And normally like the whole like thing would be like, oh no, you don't make rumors at school. And she's like, nah, fuck that. I'm gonna take those rumors and I'm gonna make them true. And she basically like pretended to become a super slut.
Oh yeah, my older sister actually really loves this film.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I thought it was really cool, and I love Emma Stone too. Although seeing Amanda Bynes in a role that's not the Amanda Show is really creepy. I don't know if any of you know what the Amanda Show is, but if you're old enough to know what that is, just seeing Amanda Bynes in anything other than that show is just not. It's just not okay.
When I was a kid, that show always was like really weird.
No, it is really weird. No, you're not supposed to. I don't think, but that's what I'm saying. Seeing her in a regular role is not okay. I watched this. Actually, I'm gonna let you talk about a movie that you watched the other day called Elephant Man.
Dude, this movie is so fucking good. Sorry, lizards are being weird. No, okay, so The Elephant Man is the directorial debut of Mr. David Lynch.
David Lynch.
And for those of you that have been listening to the podcast, you will recognize David Lynch from a certain short film that Mytchel absolutely hated called What Did Jack Do?
Oh no, that's not even a fun film.
And of course, that is the first David Lynch thing I had actually seen. So I was like, alright, weird, shit, cool. And then I watched The Elephant Man, and it is a newer Criterion release, which is why I watched it. But it's about a true story about a guy named John Merrick who was around in the 1800s. And he was born very disfigured, very a lot of diseases, very ill. And this doctor basically takes him in from a freak show and like tries to give him a proper life, tries to show him humanity, tries to show him like, you know, you can be treated well even if you're different. Mm-hmm. And it's really good. It's really sad. It's like at one point he gets kidnapped by the guy that the doctor saved him from, and they forced to be a freak show again, locked in a cage with apes. And, like, it's pretty fucked up, but it's like it's based on a true story. And so, like, we were watching it, my wife and I, we were just, like, amazed with how, like, respectful he was to everybody. Respect. And it stars the great Anthony Hopkins, who you will know as Hannibal Lecter from Silence of the Lambs. And it also stars John Hurt, who you will recognize as Ollivander from Harry Potter. Ooh. He was also in Alien as the guy who has the chest burster come out of his skin. He also played the War Doctor in Doctor Who. Like, he's a very, very prominent English actor, and they were both so good. Yeah, actually, not. And, I knew that you said that the guy that played Hannibal Lecter was in it, but I didn't realize that the guy was in it too. So it's amazing. Actually, it was it actually made my wife and I cry a couple times. Oh. And the ending, which is based on truth, so if I spoil it, it's really not a spoiler because it's real life, and you know, do your research. But
also sometimes, especially when you know spoilers or even things, it's really the journey of the film that makes it.
John Merrick died at the age of 29.
Okay.
Because he wanted to sleep like everyone else, because he could not sleep on his back. And so one night he decided to sleep on his back, and he passed away due to his weighing too much, and it broke his neck.
Oh my goodness! What the hell?
Well, it broke his neck. It like dislocated his neck from his head.
Because he's so big.
Have you seen a picture of him?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up a picture real quick. But no, it was dude, it was a sad movie.
Wait, so you're saying that I thought the Elephant Man was just a mask that he was wearing? Is that what it actually looks like?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. I thought the Elephant Man you were bringing up was just
no. That's him. We're showing Mytchel the picture right now.
Oh my goodness.
He was a real guy, and very disfigured, very ill, and he died because he wanted to sleep like everybody else.
That's a little sad.
It's a sad movie, but it's real life.
Wow.
And for David Lynch's directorial debut, holy fucking shit, this dude said his bar is high.
Yeah, it's one of the things you don't want to do when you start a movie. I mean, it's good, but also bad.
He also did such an amazing job in his later works. Like he's well known from Mulholland Drive, Blue Velvet. He made Twin Peaks, which is one of the most prominent TV shows ever made. Yeah, he's a fucking great director, great writer.
Just not with What Did Jack Do? I swear, he must have been just like
he had been like, fuck it, I've done as much good shit as I'm going to do. I'm going to do something weird.
Yeah, I mean, I just can only think that he just was like, I just don't care right now. It's just like, hit auto-generate and make something for funny, or for shits and giggles. Yeah, no, I mean, that actually sounds pretty interesting to watch, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was so good. Like, I was like, shit, dude, this makes me watch all of his other shit. Like, it's that good.
So tell me about this other film that you also watched called Destry Rides Again.
It is a 1950 Western.
Okay.
Starring James Stewart, who you will know as the main character of It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He is an actor that I actually really like. Mm-hmm. So Destry Rides Again is about a town who basically is corrupt. They're run by bullies, kind of thing. They're terrible men. And they basically go, we'll make the town drunk our sheriff, so that way we can do whatever we want. And the town drunk's like, all right, I'm gonna bring Destry. And everyone's like, oh, Destry? Because Destry, James Stewart's character, is the son of this famous lawman. And they're like, all right, Destry comes in, he's gonna straighten up the town.
Okay. And
so Destry comes in, and he's like this really polite man who doesn't carry guns, doesn't believe in violence, and only believes in upholding the law. And of course, everyone is like, you don't believe in violence. You're a sheriff, and you don't believe in violence.
Sure.
Alright, you dumb fuck. And they start bullying this man because he's a pacifist. He's like, I don't believe in violence, I don't want to fuck with it, like, I just want to uphold the law.
Hacksaw Ridge.
And there's this great scene where, because he doesn't carry guns.
Right.
So everyone thinks like, oh, he can't stop shit. He doesn't know how.
The fuck is that?
So there's this great guy comes in with he rides into town shooting guns, like 3 men, and he stops them and he's like, hey, can I see those guns? And he's like, well, be careful, they're loaded. Like, ha 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 ha. It's Destry, he's not gonna do anything. So he gets it. He's like, that's a really good weight. He looks like, he probably hit those things on top of the thing. These little like nuts on top of this board. He bang 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 and shoots them all off without missing a shot. And they're like, oh fuck.
Like, we cannot mess with this, dude.
Like, he's a good shot. Fuck. And it ends up, like, him just trying to uphold the law and do everything right ends up, as most movies like this go, he helps the town by doing the right thing and not giving into temptation to doing wrong.
Sure.
And it's a really good Western.
I like that. It sounds a lot like, obviously this came before, but like Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah, a pacifist who just wants to do the right thing.
Right, exactly. And teaches a lot of people about how you can use, even if it's not always the right way, it still is a way that you can do good without having...
Yeah, he ends up like just changing the whole town's perspective.
Exactly.
And it's James Stewart is probably the best part of the movie.
Sure. Because
he is a phenomenal actor. Okay. It is definitely a movie that if you want to watch an old, good black and white Western, it's one that I would recommend. Especially because my grandpa, who passed away 3 years ago, was really into Westerns, and this is one of his favorite movies.
Wow.
And I definitely see why. It is very, very good.
Well, it's awesome, especially you get a piece of your grandpa to know to share.
Yeah, it's like, damn, I wish I had watched this back when he was alive.
Yeah, it's like a share with him, exactly. But at least, you kind of know that that was part of his favorite thing. It's something you can share.
Yeah, as I'm getting more into film, I'm watching more films like that. Like, more Westerns and stuff that I just never would have watched. And I'm like, that kind of sucks I'm not able to talk to him about this. But, it's all good. I'm watching better films.
Right, exactly.
And I know you watched a good Robert Pattinson film.
Well,
after all of our talks about his terrible French accent and his terrible...
I wouldn't say it's necessarily good, but the film is called A Good Time.
You saying you did not have a good time in a movie called Good Time?
No, I did not. Man, this movie's just weird. Like, it's not... So, yeah, Robert Pattinson basically, like, he robs a bank with his
Is this a futuristic film?
Nope. With his...
Nope? Oh, okay. I thought it would be.
Nope. He robs a bank with his special ed brother. And basically leaves his brother to the cops. And his brother goes in prison. And then he's trying to get the money to get his brother out of prison. And then, like, the movie just takes a weird turn as his brother gets beat up in the hospital. I'm gonna spoil this because honestly it doesn't matter and I don't want you to watch this, to be honest with you. So,
oh damn! I actually wanted to watch this, but all right, let's do this.
Yeah, no,
ruin my opinion.
I don't even care. So
I don't care either. That's why I'm like, go for it.
It's one. See, here's the thing though. So about halfway. Gets to halfway through the film. His brother is taken by the cops, and then he gets in prison. And obviously, his brother doesn't realize the dynamics of prison, so he gets beat up in prison because he tries changing the TV channel. Like, he just gets beat up by the whole cafeteria.
That's probably something that actually happens,
right? Completely mashed. And then so he goes to the hospital. Robert Pattinson finds out that his brother's in the hospital, so he goes to the hospital to try and take his brother out. Well, he grabs the wrong dude.
How do you grab the wrong dude?
Because his face is wrapped in stuff.
Okay. That makes me. I was like, right. How do you not grab your brother?
So he thought it was his brother because the cop was outside the door. Plus his face was wrapped. Plus he had the same build, like body mass.
Okay.
So, but you don't find that out for another 20 minutes probably. And by the time you find it out, it's just then they go on some cocaine, trying to find these weird drugs, and then trying to find this money, and then you never get to resolve anything at the end. It's just the end of it is just Robert Pattinson drive away in a taxi, and then the dude's still in prison.
That sounds like a shit ending.
Yeah, he's not in prison. He went to like some like a place for mental health prison.
Okay, but still, like it just ends like that.
Yeah,
that's horrible.
Yeah, it's literally just him. It's just literally just Robert Pattinson looking at a taxi, just like all blank faced, like he just failed, and then it cuts to the the brother like doing like a mental health exercise with some other people.
It's a shit ending.
Yeah, that's why I was just like, it's not that good, dude. Like it's like,
you know what else had a really shit ending?
What's that?
Old Joy.
Oh yeah, which we'll get to in a minute, but
I think we should probably talk about it before we get to the good one.
Okay, fine.
Because
there's
a really shitty way to end the podcast.
Well, with our thoughts on the various content we watched throughout the week, sort of. The week's spotlight Into this Filmverse. Let's move on to our Filmverse feature. Each week, before our podcast, we watch a film that the other person wants to share. Last week, Bryce chose the 2006 slice of life adventure Old Joy.
Adventure my ass.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm not going to even give this time of day. I'm not going to even read this.
Don't even read it, because it's just going to make it sound so much cooler than it actually was.
Nope, I'm not going to read this. It basically is just about two dudes in a truck.
Dude, straight up, the whole fucking premise is these two guys going, "Hey man, you want to go camping?" "Yeah, alright, that sounds fun."
Let's get naked.
"Oh, we went camping. Let's go to hot springs." "Alright, yeah, sure, that sounds fun." "Want to smoke some weed?" "Yeah, sure, that sounds fun."
Dude.
"Oh, let's go home." "Sure, that sounds fun."
I think there's like one line, it was like, "Dude, I think I'm going to be a dad." He's like, "That's heavy, dude." "Yeah. You remember that one place that we went to?" "Yeah, I do, man. I think I'm going to go there." "No, it's closed." "Oh, dang, dude."
"Hey, I need to sell all these records." "No, man, you can't do that. It's closed now." "Oh, shit, bummer, man. Things are changing." What the fuck kind of dialogue is this?
That is literally the movie, though. It's not even...
It's the whole thing, dude. Like, we straight up, like, we're watching it, and there's, like, 20 minutes of just straight car driving with silence.
No, it wasn't 20 minutes. It was probably, like, 30%, 35%, 40% of the movie.
Yeah, we're sitting there at one point, we're, like, trying to figure out a film to watch after this, because this was so fucking shit.
Right.
And the guitar music was playing, which the music, fucking well done. That's
music
good music.
Is good, yeah.
But then it's, like, we're just sitting there, and it's just guitar playing, and we're like, how much you want to bet they're still driving that fucking car? And Mytchel went over. He's like, "Yeah, they're still driving that fucking car." It's like, big shocker there.
Because literally there was no dialogue for at least 15 minutes, solid 15 minutes. It was just like the truck driving down a road.
Yeah, and then just guitar music.
Exactly.
I was like, the fuck kind of movie is this?
Wow, this is surreal. Wow, this is so artistic. No, dude.
76 minutes of horribly shot, horribly edited, horribly written, art house garbage.
Yeah, I don't know, because you go on to like some like the reviews and it's like, it goes
they're
like 4 out of 5 stars.
5 stars. This is the best movie ever. It made me feel so. I was like, "The fuck did it make you feel?" It made me feel tired.
It made me feel like I wanted to watch a movie where something happened.
I was like, don't get me wrong, I watch a lot of like art house films, but like, fuck, dude. At least something happens in them.
And speaking of something that happens, and everything happens in this film,
dude. No, it's not, no, I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay.
I know I'm not the biggest supporter of slice of life films.
Right.
I know I'm very much like, they're not the best. But if, like, Mytchel, who was like, normally is like okay with slice of life, like it seems, is sitting there like,
nah, dude,
sucks.
It wasn't
it's
even like,
fuck, man, this movie's horrible.
There just was, okay, there's no substance to anything. Like, the whole premise was that this guy was going to become a father soon, and he wanted to take a road trip just to, like, kind of cleanse his head and, like, hey, I'm prepared to be a father. But it turned out to be, like, that was like one line of dialogue in the whole film. Otherwise, it was just them literally just riding around a car.
It's like they're not even talking about like
anything.
It's like they discuss somewhat of like their old days. Like, I get old joy. You're supposed to be like the old joy of youth or whatever. But it's like they didn't fucking do anything to try to relive their youth. They went fucking camping and sat in a hot spring naked.
You know what? This is how I feel like. I know you're super excited for Nomad. Was it Nomad?
Nomadland.
Nomadland. This is how I feel like that movie's gonna be.
I'm gonna be so mad if it is because so many people are banking for it to win Best Picture. And
I told you. This is how. That's why I don't want to watch it. But I will because I will for you. But I just feel like that's how this is gonna be. That one's gonna be. But
it's so disappointing. It's so disappointing. We found a different Filmverse feature.
Yeah, it was so disappointing. We were like, we need something else to watch.
So we didn't watch a movie night Monday movie this week, which normally we watch a Best Picture winner or whatever, but we didn't do that this week. One of our people, it was his turn to pick a movie, and he had a family emergency, so we couldn't watch a movie.
Right.
But we were like, if we don't fucking watch another movie, this podcast is going to have no fucking substance.
We're just like, can I just put sand in my mouth and just spew that out instead of this podcast? So, actually, I'll let you know what we ended up watching.
We watched a 1975, I think it's 1975, I think it is. 1975, Mel Brooks film called Blazing Saddles. That is the most...
I want to say raunchy. I
like raunchy. I was like, it's not really racist? It's not really, like...
No, because I feel like... I mean, it is.
It's like...
It is, but it's also, like, mean to everything, so...
It's not racist, the fact it's, like, pointing one person out or one culture out. It's literally everybody. Everybody gets called out. Everybody. Exactly. And that's what makes it so watchable.
Especially since it was from all in the past. I mean, there are still a couple of, like, the ways they say things and just like, But, I mean, they still do that these days, especially when they're doing certain types of films from period pieces.
This just, like...
But...
It's impressive how much a movie that can be so raunchy and so fucked up can still be, like, so watchable.
Exactly. No, I honestly had, like, a lot of fun with this film. Like, I mean, I've heard about this in the past, and, you know, Westerns aren't usually my thing, but this is just, like, it's like Monty Python meets Westerns.
So, the story of Blazing Saddles is a young African-American man gets chosen by a corrupt politician to be a sheriff of a very racist town. And in part of this town, he does whatever he can to save this town from being taken out so they can build a railroad over it.
Yeah, that's pretty much the premise of it. And, yeah, I mean, just
that's
like
the best way to describe it.
To me, it's like Monty Python meets Westerns instead of fantasy.
Yeah, it has Gene Wilder in it, which is he's so good.
You know, honestly, I started looking at Gene Wilder films because I want to watch more Gene Wilder films because I love Gene Wilder.
Yeah, he's such a good actor.
Like his eyes to me, I'm like, bro, I can melt in those eyes.
Yeah, he always just looks so tired in this film too. He just always looks so out of it. He's just like
the Waco kid.
I'm the Waco kid. Fastest guns in the world.
Yeah, but honestly, I feel like everybody should take a look at this film because it's really fun.
Dude, it's one of those films. Like, if you want to know how okay this film is to watch, I had to watch this in film class. Like they were like, we're gonna watch the Blazing Saddles, and all you think I was like, are you fucking serious?
The Blazing Saddles? What is that?
Well, my dad had bought this film a week prior because he really liked this film, and I was like, this seems like the most racist, fucked up film I've ever seen in my life. And then my film class was like, we're watching Blazing Saddles.
Hey, what?
It's like, the fuck?
You're like, this is weird.
It's like, this is a socially acceptable movie to play in a college film class?
I guess, I mean, it's really I think it's because that ending is the biggest thing.
Dude, the movie,
I'm not gonna take, well, I mean, obviously if I say Monty Python, you should obviously just kind of cue into what's
happening. It's one of those films that's like, I like Mel Brooks. He's done a lot of good stuff. He did Spaceballs for all of you that know that film, because that movie's really popular due to Star Wars.
Spaceball!
Which we were also going to watch, but...
I said Spaceballs thinking Space Jam.
We were going to watch Spaceballs, but we decided to watch Blazing Saddles, because it is my favorite Mel Brooks film.
Hey, what's up, Doc?
And it's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
I've never heard Mytchel laugh so much in a comedy. It was great.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a lot of fun. I guess I will announce my next Filmverse feature, which I just decided on right now because I had a few of them. I think I say there's a few of them I want to save, and I kind of wanted to watch something. I've picked a lot of more. I want to say popular movies. I want to say the past few weeks, and now I want to pick something that I know you haven't seen yet, but I definitely want to share with you, and I would like to see it again because I saw it in theater when it came out. It's called The Farewell, starring Awkwafina.
I really want to see that.
I know. I really want to see it again too, and I just feel like it's important to see. I feel like it's a really good film to see.
I have been so close to watching this movie 4 fucking times. I actually started it and got 2 minutes in, and I was like, no, I'm not feeling it.
No, this movie's really good.
I'm just not ready to be sad because I know it's about a sad thing, and I'm like, I don't want to be sad. I really don't feel like being sad right now.
No, it's weird because you'd think you would be sad, but it's very holistic.
And Awkwafina is a really good actress.
I love Awkwafina.
I'm pretty.
She goes up there as one of my after watching her in 2 films. I'm like, I want to see you in everything.
Yeah, she's just so charismatic.
Yeah.
Shit, the first time I saw her, naturally charismatic.
The first time I saw her in a movie was Jumanji 2, Next Level.
Who was she in Jumanji?
She was one of the characters at the end. She came in at
yeah. I was thinking of them.
I was like, who is this chick? She's hilarious. And then I saw her, and then I think next I saw her in was The Farewell. And I was like, holy this is crazy. And then Crazy Rich Asians, which she was amazing in.
Yeah, I've only ever seen her in Ocean's 8.
Which I haven't seen, so honestly, I want to watch Ocean's 8 just because of her. I know And I know some people said she's not even in it that much, right?
No, she's not.
But
she's
still,
good in it.
like, anything she's in, I'm just like, I'll take it out just because of her.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about Old Joy. I thought it was going to be a lot better.
No, I mean, like I said, it's one of those things that whenever you choose a movie, you're not, especially when you haven't seen it yet, you're not really sure how it's going to turn out. And honestly, that premise of Old Joy sounds really nice.
I know. That's why I was like, two guys living up through the past, trying to like, learn to be adult. And it's
it was 2006 too, right? Came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you think a 2006 film is going to be good. I mean, even if it's an art film. I was like, Bryce, your little 5-minute thing you shot was way better than whatever this was.
Yeah, it was so bad. I was like so mad. I was like, it's supposed to be so much better. Criterion, you let me down.
You let me down this time. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you for joining us as we talk movie news, shared our thoughts on the Season 2, Episode 2 of Mandalorian, plunged deep into the filmverse with His House, Good Time, and drank from the well of infinite movies while watching Old Joy and the Blazing Saddles. New episodes come out every Friday, so be sure to follow us and turn on notifications to get updates every time we post. You can stay connected with Bryce Payne on Letterboxd at
Payne Reviews, Payne Reviews.
And you can stay connected with me, Mytchel Chandler, by following me on Facebook and Instagram at author Mytchel Chandler, on Twitter at Mytchel Chandler, and on Letterboxd at Mitch Reviews.
And guess what? We now have an Instagram up.
And we have an Instagram.
It's Into the Filmverse Podcast.
Exactly, at Into the Filmverse Podcast on Instagram.
And we will be putting on things about our next episodes coming out.
Exactly, or just other random Batman and
stuff that comes to mind.
Exactly.
Things to help promote the podcast.
Exactly. Well, that's all for this week, our fellow cinephiles. And until next time,
Excelsior!
That was an episode. 41 minutes and 46 seconds.
That's okay.